Hello, students. Welcome back to the new session, which is going to be very important topic today. Last time we have told you about the order of the reaction. We told you how to calculate the integrated rate equations for zero order reactions. We derived the formulas for the integrated rate equation for first order reaction. And we also last time find the half-life of the zero order reaction, half-life of the first order reactions, and few numericals were also given. As I have been always telling the students that there will be different type of graphs for zero order reactions, for first order reactions. So we should be able to do all this. Is very important. The graphs are very important. But when we do the graphs, they are very important for us. So the type of graphs which we have been telling you already, you are aware of that graphs. What I have been telling you, zero order graphs, and the two axes which we take, whether you are plotting concentration versus time or log of concentration versus time, you should be very careful because such questions are going to be asked in the examinations. Very important questions. We already know that you have already some idea about these, which we discussed in the last class. And in today's lecture, we have a very important thing which we are talking about. What is that? As you can see the heading, temperature dependence of the rate constant. Temperature effect, you see, temperature is very important. Thermal energy is very important. And you are so much aware that large number of reactions which do not take place under ordinary temperature conditions, at room temperature, at normal temperature, I'm saying the temperature at which you are working, they do take place at temperature, higher temperature. That as you increase the temperature, it will be found usually the rate of the reaction increases. What we are saying, and what has been observed experimentally, the rate of the reaction increases with increase in temperature. And it has been found after performing experiments that the rate almost doubles for every 10-degree rise in temperature. So what is here we are talking about, that increasing the temperature of a reaction generally speeds up the process, increases the rate, increases the rate. So increase the rate because the rate constant increases according to Arrhenius equation. Now this important point here, what I'm trying to tell you, what we are simply saying, the reaction rate will increase if you increase the temperature. How much it will increase? Experiment has to be done to find that value, what we call as temperature quotient. You have to find experimentally, and the value comes between 2 and 3. That means the rate will increase by 2 to 3 factor. Most of the time we are saying two times. The you can see the rate is nothing but rate constant and rate are related with each other for any reaction. For any reaction, we told you. So if the rate constant is the rate when the concentrations of the reactants are unity, and we told you already that K, the rate constant K for a reaction is a function of temperature. It depends on the temperature. And the person who studied all this is very important, Arrhenius. As I have been telling you that Arrhenius equation. Arrhenius was a scientist who studied the effect of temperature on the rates of reactions, and after he gave a very important relationships also after studying large number of the reactions and the effect of temperature. What is that equation? That equation is very useful because it will help us in solving large number of questions and problem, students. And numericals is expected on this also. And some basic concepts should be understood by us. What we are saying, Arrhenius equation, Arrhenius give a mathematical equation which gives the dependence of the rate constant of a chemical reaction on the absolute temperature a pre-exponential factor and other constants of the reaction. Very important. What we are trying to say that if K is my rate constant of the reaction, Arrhenius gave an equation. He said some constant A e to the power E minus E A by R T student. This equation was given by Arrhenius. What is your K students? K is my rate constant. K is my rate constant and T is your absolute temperature, always taken in Kelvin scale student, Kelvin scale temperature. EA is the activation energy. You are so familiar with this that but we will tell you what is the basis of activation energy also now why we are taking all that. And R is your big gas constant. It is coming in a whole large number of formulas. You can say PV is equal to nRT. You started with that and then R is coming everywhere. Unbelievable. Such an important quantity that we will have to remember the values of R. So R is a gas constant, EA is my activation energy, T is the temperature, this is the exponential factor. This is called the exponential factor. And A is my constant, A is a constant. Here pre-exponential factor, which is a pre-exponential factor for a reaction. So we have two things here. This is my pre-exponential factor and this is my exponential factor students. Exponential factor. You have an exponential factor and you have a pre-exponential. Pre means coming before. Pre-exponential factor. Students, what it is trying to tell us and why? Arrhenius is saying that the reaction is the result of collisions between the particles of the molecules. That means any reaction which is taking place, any reaction, you are saying that if molecules are going to react, what will happen? Supposing a molecule of A reacts with molecule of B, then what we are saying that if they are forming some product, CD or anything, there has to be collisions between these molecules. What will happen? They will collide. There is going to be some collision between the molecules. And after they collide, you are saying they are forming products. But can all the collisions give the products? That is another question. If you think that every molecule which collides, you know, even if you take 1 mole of a substance, how many particles are there? 6.02 into 10 power 23. It's a huge number. In a particular reaction, even if you take 0.0 millimoles of that, you will have very large number of particles inside that reacting. So they are colliding. But are these collisions effective collision students? The question has been handled by the Arrhenius in this way. See, he says this is the rate constant is determined by a factor A, which is what we call as a frequency of the collisions is a constant. And there is a activation energy factor which is E minus of EA by RT. But we are trying to say that the molecules should not only collide, the particles should not only collide, but they must collide with an energy greater than or equal to activation energy. So he gives an idea of activation energy, students. Very important point that for every reaction, there will be an activation energy. So you are saying unless the molecules possess that activation energy, the collisions will be ineffective. Collisions will not form the products. So the molecules must have energy equal to or greater than activation energy to form the products. But in a particular system which you take, whenever you start a reaction, you mix the reactants. The molecules have a distribution of velocities. All the molecules do not have the same velocity. Some are moving faster, some are moving slower. Or in other words, there is a distribution of the kinetic energy of the molecules. Some molecules move slower, some faster, and there is a most probable kinetic energy also statistically, which is studied by the fraction of molecules which have energy equal to or greater than activation energy. There is a graph which is been given by Boltzmann distribution. The probability that how many molecules have energy less, more than most probable energy. So here is a catch. what we are trying to say. The molecules should collide, but they should have activation energy. So that is why Arrhenius came to the conclusion and gave a formula which is very important formula. You know why we are giving so many formulas in science, in physics, and all that. Some phenomena is happening. Experiment you observe with temperature rate increases. Now we are making an attempt to explain this, why it is happening, how it is happening. Sometimes every question cannot be answered in science, but then we are trying to find some mathematical equations by which we can explain the increase in temperature, the effect of temperature on the rate of the reaction, on the rate constant of the reaction. You got my point? So that's what Arrhenius. You have to work very hard as a scientist in order to come and form such equations, and we have to verify these things experimentally, how close we are. How, let it be the discovery of the electron, proton, or neutron, you know, all these things are being done by one by the scientists, and the previous data collected helps in improving our models or our theories or our equations. This is a part of the science which we are doing. So here what you find, this equation. Okay, now here I have shown K is equal to A E minus EA by RT is a minus sign here. Activation K is my rate constant, frequency of collision resulting in a reaction, frequency of collision resulting in a reaction. T is the absolute temperature, always taken in Kelvin, students. Do not use centigrade. If given, we have to convert it. A is a pre-exponential factor, a constant for each reaction. For each reaction, there will be some constant value, which we'll see how do we calculate that value also. And activation energy of the reaction in the same unit as RT. Okay. So in the formula, of course, when we keep the units, we have to be careful that what units we are keeping. If R and T units are the same as the energy of activation. If you are using joules, then we have to use the value of R in terms of joule per Kelvin per mole. R values, you know, have been given in different units because it is being used in large calculations. Further, you see what Arrhenius is saying, that supposing now I'm saying hydrogen gas is reacting with iodine gas to form HI. This is my reaction. Arrhenius, you know, when the reaction is taking place, there is a bond between two hydrogen atoms, there is a bond between two iodine atoms. So bond breaking process has to be there. Every chemical reaction means some bonds are being broken, students. But at the same time, a new bond is being formed. What is that? HI. And you know, bond breaking, already when I mix the two, they have got some energy. Some energy is there in hydrogen and iodine when I mix the two. And what will happen? They will come, collide, you are saying. They are coming and colliding. And he also gave an idea that some intermediate is going to be formed. What is going to happen? What I'm trying to tell you, students, that here you have H and H. I'm putting it like this now. Here you have I and I, students. Now they are coming together, coming closer to each other. Then what is the result of this, students? This bond is breaking. This bond is breaking, students. I bond is breaking, HH bond. And here is a formation of a new bond has started, students. So here is an intermediate. The reaction will go through an intermediate, student. Interesting. We are talking of intermediates in the kinetics now. And this is a type of activated complex, students. Activated is a complex, you know, which is having very transitory existence, short life, and may not be isolated in the reactions. And this is what we call as activated complex, a complex which has been activated, which is at a higher energy, students, higher energy. Activated complex, higher energy. Now this is going to dissociate, students. As you can see, H goes with I, H goes with I. So what you will get, students? HI and HI. Or you are trying to tell me that some in every reaction, it is obvious bonds are going to break and new bonds are going to be formed, and the reaction will follow and proceed through an activated complex. Intermediate students, the product is going to be formed. So there is some energy requirement which you are calling as activation energy, students. The minimum amount of energy which must be possessed by the reactants to form the products is called the activation energy. So Arrhenius equation introduces the idea of activation energy. Some minimum energy requirement. Believe it, every reaction has got an activation energy. Unless that energy is given, even combustion cannot take place. There can be no fire by itself. If activation energy becomes zero, then what will happen? Every reaction will take place without any energy requirement. Then nothing will exist. Everything will react with everything. So what will happen? You have a lot of carbon, you have a lot of coal, a lot of oxygen. If there is no activation energy, the carbon reacts with oxygen and form carbon dioxide. The fuel petrol reacts with oxygen. Okay, no issue. And what will be the result of that? You mean to say unlimited fires because activation energy is now zero. So good, so balanced situation. You know, the world which we live has made the arrangement for our life. Interesting thing is this. Or if one of the parameter goes against us, the extinction will take place. You have seen mass extinctions when the earth started freezing, when the earth temperature became very, very low and there was freezing. So many things we know from the historical point of view, that if the conditions are going to be varied to a extent that it will start affecting our life, as we have been talking about pollution problem, and now you are facing a corona crisis. All these have been threats to the human life, and the science stands and helps us. So long as the science is there, the balance is there, we understand these things, we are able to survive. We survive corona and pandemic, otherwise there would be huge casualties, because we have the knowledge, we have the science, and we understand that what steps have to be taken to prevent it, to save ourselves. The lockdowns and all that which we are doing, and you know, with this lockdown we are working on online coaching classes now. As you will see, a lot of students are asking me, sir, you have started using this instead of Blackboard. I said that this is a time to learn something more than what we are, and these technologies are helping us. If Zoom is not there, how will I connect with you? So the technology helped us. The science and technology helped us from 1800th century. All the things started, you know, the discovery of electron, proton. It's a very interesting story. Before that, you know how much work and hard work has been done by the scientists. And that's about Dalton's atomic theory only talked of the hard spheres of the atom, but he said it is not divisible. But scientists were able to find electron, proton, and neutrons. So these electrons are so important that the entire electricity and charge particle is working on it, because our observation of electrification, it was important. All these things, you know, what we are doing. So our mind is always inquiring mind. My student's mind is scientific mind. You are my student, you are scientist, you are scientific. You have ability to think, observe the things, and you can give certain information on the observations you are making. And then we have to verify those observations by experiments. So see, the scientists are so genius. I mean, how much work they may have done. Arrhenius giving an equation based on his knowledge of chemistry and doing a lot of experiments. He comes, says that, okay, there is activation energy which is required. After that, we have started using activation energy. And we have started talking about intermediates in a reaction, activated, complex, activated. An interesting thing in a lot of organic chemistry, now there are machines and instruments available by which we can experience these activated complexes which are formed. And when I will say that this is the in my video lectures what I talked about, mechanisms of the reactions, mechanism in how the reactions take place, students. And there has to be, I said, experimental evidence, and there is experimental evidence for all these things by the machines which we have today. There are machines by which we can see. Can you see an atom? The answer is no, but you are made up of trillions of atoms, and you are interesting. And the entire atoms of your body will be exchanged in a year or so. Interesting thing. You will undergo total change in 1 year. You don't know about that. I'm telling you now. All the particles you are made up of will be exchanged in a year or so. So you will be a new person by another year. Those atoms left, new are already replacing. This is the story of the body, human body. Trillions and trillions of atoms you are made up of. Interesting, very interesting. So here, a lot of interest in science. I tell these things because I want you to motivate you, inspire you that there is a lot of things to be learned. You know that three particles, proton, neutron, they are saying there are more than 35 particles which are now known, which are much smaller than what you are experiencing. So a lot of things going on. Gold particle and all that, you are hearing a lot of stories about that. So interesting, hydrogen and iodine collide, form an intermediate and forms HI. And this Arrhenius is giving this concept of activated complex. So here is a diagram, students. Interesting. Potential energy versus reaction coordinate. You will be saying every time I do chemistry, I make a graph. Yes, I learned graphs from this because when I was a student like you, I knew nothing. Even proper books were not available. I never knew that what is maths, what is physics, what is chemistry, what is the connection. But I see that every subject you learn will help us. It's very important. In chemistry, I use physics. In chemistry, I use maths. Everything I'm using. I'm using my knowledge. I'm using my common sense. If something is hot, I don't want to touch it. It's all science. It's chemistry. So here I am using the graph. If mathematics doesn't have a graph, then how will I learn it? See, every subject is helping me. Chemistry is the most fascinating subject. Mathematician may not be using any chemistry. See, but I am using the maths every time, and I am saying my maths is not difficult, student. Don't worry about it. Our maths will be very simple, and we will be able to solve numericals and get full marks out of them. We are not going to do very difficult maths, but you should not be scared of these things. By practice and by experience, we can learn all these things. And the most important thing for a coach is, I'm a coach of science and I'm a coach of life also now, is to motivate the people, inspire the people, inspire the students that you can do anything in your life. It's not the question of chemistry, physics or maths. It's not life. Life is much bigger than what you're doing, and it's not that all the time your goals will be fulfilled, but there will be many opportunities. So there's nothing to worry about it. The now dimensions are very large. I wish every student will be admitted to the course which he wants, but it is not possible because we don't have the adequate number of large number of colleges to support that. Given an opportunity, I would like to make thousands of medical colleges and thousands of more engineering colleges, so that all the aspiring students should go and do whatever they want. There should be no bar. It is a need of the country actually. I don't know why there are so limited number of colleges and why the competition is being made so hard. If I have an opportunity, I'll make it so that every aspiring child who has the ability should be admitted to the course which he wants. So that in one life only, let him do whatever he wants. And I should not force you to go for this subject though. It's your choice. Your life is yours. You are not going to copy others. There is no need to copy others. You be yourself. You do what is good for you, what you want. That is my point. And you love something, then you go for it. You don't love something, don't go for it. Everywhere it is a simple thing. Everything will give great rewards if you do the things which you love. But at the same time, it's a law of life that whatever you do your best. See my point, coming to that point. If you are not getting the things which you want, if you get something else, then do the best in that under the circumstances. We have no choice. because we will face a lot of defeats and failures in life. It's a part of that. In everything will not be fulfilled, let it be me or anybody. But we must accept what we are and continue to live happily, healthily, and don't fall sick. That's very important. So, story of this coming now. Where are we? See, this is our graph, potential energy versus reaction coordinate. I said graph is very important. Always take two axes, on one axis and the other axis. Here is my hydrogen and iodine. You see, I have not shown hydrogen and iodine at 0 point because they were having some energy. At room temperature, particles, air molecules are having some energy, you know. What we call internal energy, thermal energy. Some energy is there. It is not zero. There is already some kinetic energy of the molecules with which they are moving, and now they are going to collide. And here is a mountain which I have shown activated complex is formed at this point. And after this, it can go back or it can dissociate to form the products. So here you see this gap which I have shown, activation energy. This energy must be supplied for different reactions. For different reaction, this amount will be different. Reaction for which activation energy is lower will be very fast reactions, and reaction for which activation energy hill is very high, that will be difficult. Climbing a bigger mountain is difficult, and small mountain you will climb easily. So here is the important point coming from Arrhenius concept. He is giving, you know, here exponential vector E and pre-exponential vector, which we call as a Coulomb vector. Students, how many coulombs per second per unit volume are taking place in the reaction. So activated complex is this state, and then product is formed. Sometimes in this reaction you see delta H value I have shown, delta H. Here the product is a lower energy. In most of the cases we expect the products to be of lower energy, but it is not always true. The product could be of higher energy coming here, then that will be endothermic reaction, students. And when the product is lower energy than the reactant, you know about it. What you know about it? It is example of the exothermic reaction. So here you have exothermic reaction. You can see that the heat is being evolved. Heat is being evolved. Very important point. This could be up also, then that will be endothermic reaction. So what you are trying to say, what sir, you will understand now that, okay sir, you have given me some idea that what is happening, that here were my reactants and they pass through products, and here I've shown like this. This is the reactants, these are the products, and here is my activated state, and this is your, this gap is your, what you are saying, activation energy, EA, that must be possessed to form the products. This is the reactant, this is the product, and the difference of these two is our delta H. If it comes above, that means the reaction is absorbing energy, that will be an endothermic reactions. And we know that high energy states are not stable. Anything which requires more energy wants to get relieved. So the particles which get more energy, you know, immediately they fall down to lower states too, and they emit light or energy in the form of heat or electromagnetic radiation. So things are moving towards higher and higher stability. All right, let's go further. We understood this. Now the question which was given in paper is that if I increase the temperature, why does the rate becomes almost double by every 10-degree rise in temperature? This question was given. You are saying that not all the particles are going to be active in forming the products, only those which have an energy greater than or equal to activation energy. Boltzmann, you have heard the name of Boltzmann distribution curve. Important. What Boltzmann was doing, he said कि in every system you have collection of large number of molecules or particles or whatever atoms you have. They are having kinetic energy, but all of them are not having equal kinetic energy. Then what is it? There is a distribution of the kinetic energy. What type of distribution is there? He said, if I take the fraction of the molecules, supposing n is the supposing nt is a total number of molecules, total molecules, and I'm saying the fraction of molecules is n, supposing, and the fraction of molecules, I say n by nt, fraction n by nt is a fraction. Fraction of molecules, here I am saying fraction of the molecules which have energy, how much energy, which is shown in the graph. This is plotted against kinetic energy. So I have two axes. On one axis, I have fraction of molecules, and the graph is being made versus kinetic energy. What I am plotting? Kinetic energy. What type of graph you are getting, students? There's a distribution. If I say, and this is my kinetic energy, and this is my fraction of molecules. So what do you see? You can see that graph shape comes something like this. What it is showing, the fraction of molecules which have this much. This is the kinetic energy, this is the kinetic energy, this is the kinetic energy. How the graph goes, the kinetic energy, this is the fraction of molecules which have kinetic energy. This here you see the fraction, most probable kinetic energy. Maximum molecules have got this energy. This is called the most probable kinetic energy, most probable, the top of the hill. So molecules have less fraction have got this energy is increasing, less. Then there is a maximum concentration of molecules which have energy, which we call as the most probable kinetic. After this, again, the concentration of fraction is decreasing like this. This curve was given by Boltzmann distribution. This is called Boltzmann distribution curve. Now the question is, supposing here is my activation energy. This is the point where this is my activation energy. That means all the molecules which will cross this line, all the molecules which will have energy greater than this will react, and others not going to react. Why? Because their kinetic energy is less. So this is a fraction here I show. This is a fraction of the molecules which is going to form the products, because they have energy greater than or equal to activation energy. Below this, these particles are there, but they are not going to react. They will collide, but they are not forming products. What is the effect of temperature on this? What is the effect of temperature on this? That is what we have to study. So what happens is that Arrhenius are good, that reactants to transform into product, they first acquire a minimum amount of energy called the activation energy. One point is clear. Second, I am saying increasing the temperature increases the fraction of molecules which collide with energies greater than activation energy. This is a very important line, because there's a big question, only you have to write this line. See, when I say something that you are having colored pens, students, note down this with colored pen, because this is 1 mark question and is there in the exam. You don't have to write anything, but just write this line. The question was, why increase in temperature? I try to discuss previous year questions in between. Be careful. Why increase in temperature increases the rate of the reaction? That is my question. The answer is this line. Increasing the temperature increases the fraction of molecules which collide with energies greater than activation energy. There is a fraction of molecules I showed you which is going to react, because these molecules have energy greater than or equal to activation energy. When I will increase the temperature, students, what will happen? When I will increase the temperature, you will see the graph shape goes something like this. Now you can see what is happened. The fraction of these molecules have increased. this fraction was this much, now the fraction has increased. What I'm trying to tell you, students, okay, let me use a colored pen. Now you see, this is the story. Within this is temperature T1 and this is my temperature T2. T2 is greater than T1, students. And you can see that here the fraction of the molecule has increased. See the point? So with increase in temperature, this is the fraction which has increased. So when the fraction of molecules which have energy greater than increases, what will be the result of that, students? The K value will increase. And that means the rate of the reaction will increase. In fact, you already know in chemistry that a lot of reactions you are doing, reaction with air, reaction with water, reaction with acids, metals, cold conditions, you see no reaction, you heat. What do you mean by heat? You give more energy to the water, energy water. The higher the energy of the water, reaction takes place. Iron reacts with steam. Iron doesn't react with cold water. So similarly, you found many metals like other magnesium, etc. Now, unless you have hot water or steam, they are not reacting. So increasing the temperature, a lot of reactions do take place which are not taking place, and rates of the reaction increases because the fraction of the molecules which collide energy greater than or equal to activation energy increases. This is a graph which is shown here. This is the fraction of the molecules. This is the first graph which I have shown, this one. And this dark line is the fraction of the molecule. When I increase the temperature by 10 degree, this is the temperature, T temperature, you see T temperature here, what is that, T. And this one, the one I've shown here, you can see this is temperature T plus 10, increased temperature. If I increase the temperature, you see the area increased. So the fraction of the molecules which have energy greater than or equal to activation energy has increased. Therefore, the rate of the reaction increases. That is the correct answer for the question. Important question, very important question for exam. So we know what we are talking about. That this is our graph which we have shown here again, Boltzmann distribution curve. So Boltzmann distribution curve we have shown already. Therefore, with increase in temperature, rate of the reaction increases. Now, it's interesting thing about this Arrhenius equation, K is equal to A e power E minus E, EA by RT. If I take the ln of this, log of this, I am trying to now put equation in a better form. I will take the log, student, what will I get? Ln K is equal to Ln minus EA by R1 by T. This is a natural log form of this, natural log form of this. I can put it in this form. So ln K is equal to minus EA by 1 by T. So what is this equation? This is my plus ln A. What I have done is nothing but all I'm saying is that you are saying K is equal to A E minus EA by RT, and you are taking natural log of this. Is what will be the result? Ln of A minus EA by RT, students. So if I now consider this is a y is equal to mx plus c, straight line equation, again graph, again the graph. So if I make a graph of ln k, this is my ln k versus 1 by t versus 1 by t here. So what you are going to get, this is a, you can see this value is negative, this value is negative. So ln k versus 1 by t graph will be a straight line, as I've seen here. And interesting thing is that the C is, what is my C here? C is my ln A. What is the C? C is my intercept here, students. My intercept is coming how much, students? C is my intercept. What is the value of the intercept? ln A. So here 2.303 into log of A, 2.30 log of A, and I can find the value of A from here. Value of A I can find from graph this. And the slope, what is the slope? Minus EA by R. Very important now, slope. Slope is equal to minus EA by R, students. So by from the slope value, numerical was given to find the activation energy. They will say the slope of ln R, ln K versus 1 by T value is given, find the activation energy. This is the formula. Further important point about this is, you are saying, supposing I have temperature T1 and I increase the temperature from T1 to T2, then what is going to be the result of that, students? You are saying ln K1, ln A is constant minus EA by R 1 by T1. And you are saying now you increase the temperature, what will happen? T1 to T2. ln A value is not going to change. EA is not going to change. R is not going to change, but temperature is changed. So you have two equations. You have two equations. So what I can do? I have two equations. And if I subtract the two equations, I'm saying ln K2 minus ln K1 will be equal to, this will get cancelled, students. What will be that? ln K2 is what? Minus EA by R 1 by T2 minus ln K1. This minus will become plus, then what will you get? EA by R 1 by T1. If I take EA by R common, then what is the result of that, students? What you will get? Here 1 by T1, 1 by, this is EA by R, this is minus, this is what you are getting. So this is a formula which is important for solving large number of questions. What you get then? ln K2 by K1. Log A minus log B is log A by B, students. We are aware of it. Log A minus log B is log A by B, is equal to EA by R 1 by, or if I take the LCM of this, T2 minus T1 divided by T1 into T2, students. So we are getting an important formula which will help us and will be used in numericals. All the time I am giving you certain formulas, certain numerical, student, which are very important for us. Now this ln we don't use in our log tables, the log tables which will be given, or log values. We convert this natural log into the log to the base 10 value, and what will be that answer then? So let me, I will put another color. All right. So I can write this as log of K2 by K1 will be equal to EA by 2.303 R, and further what you are having, T2 minus T1 divided by T1 into T2. Okay, students, important formula. Now we are ready to solve many questions for the exam. There will be a lot of numericals, so we are so seeing such a easy formula. R value will be given. Activation energy can be calculated if I know these values. And if I change the temperature, supposing now we will be able to find if temperature is changed by 10 degree, activation energy is known, R is known, how the rate of the reaction will change. See, the scientists gave equation, then they have to be able to verify so many things and do that. Experimental values are calculated, and then we put the values here and see how does it matches with our formulas. Interesting that what I've been talking, what I'm telling Arrhenius equation. What is that? Log of A, ln of A, ln A. And this equation, many times there are questions on the exponential factor. This is exponential. This is a pre-exponential factor. Pre-exponential factor. So exponential and pre-exponential factor are important for us. And these formulas very important students. We have to use them for solving numericals, which we will be doing. Okay. All right, let's go further. What he says, say a numerical was given, which I am putting before you. Here I am putting a numerical based on the energy of activation and Arrhenius equation. This question was given in some CBSE paper. What it says, this is our numerical. The rate constant of a first order reaction increases from 2 into 10 minus 2 to 8 into 10 minus 2 when the temperature changes from 300 to 320 Kelvin. Calculate the energy of activation. Got my point? How they are calculating energy of activation? So how will we solve such a question in paper? Important, because I said ki Arrhenius equation is important. Usually numericals are asked in the examinations. Now let us see. I am giving only 1 minute to you. Then I discuss it. You can try this. Interesting. Already is given temperature in Kelvin scale 300 and 320 Kelvin. Temperature is given. 300 Kelvin, 320 Kelvin. Okay, let's do it. He says a rate constant of a first order reaction. The reaction is first order. Okay. What is he giving? K1, how much? 2 into 10 minus 2. What is K2? 8 into 10 minus 2. What is the temperature? T1. How much is T1? 300 Kelvin. What is T2? 320 Kelvin. This is given to us. What he has given. And what you want to calculate? Activation energy, students. What is the formula, students? You said log of K2 by K1 is equal to EA by 2.303 R, and you are saying T2 minus T1 divided by T1 into T2. So we can write the formula. And what is log K2 by K1? As you can see, 8 by 2. This will get cancelled. So what will be this? Log of 8, 10 minus 2 divided by 2 into 10 minus 2. Activation energy we have to calculate, but the unit of activation energy should be the same as R value. So what R value you can take? 8.314 joule per mole. Per Kelvin we know joule because the answer we want in joules. So 2.303 into 8.314. And what is the story of the temperature? 320 minus 300 divided by 320 into 300. So some calculation is required. This will get cancelled to 4. The is a log 4. Log 4 value is given to me. Point log 4 is 0.6021. This value we have to then calculate how much, whatever value it comes, 2.303. I'm not changing anything, into 20 by 3 to the 6, 3 3 the 9, 1 2 3 1 2 3 0. Now see the question. We have to calculate activation energy. You can do it. Nothing, no issue. Multiply, cross multiply, and you will get the value of EA. Because you will get large amount of joules, as it is clear. So then you can convert it into kilojoules. You can convert this into kilojoules. So you will get in joules. Answer you are getting in joules, activation energy value. So you can easily do the calculation for this question. You can see that if we understand, then numericals are easy for us. Another numerical we have given here. Rate of reaction becomes 4 times when the temperature changes from 293 to 3. Calculate the energy of activation, assuming it does not change with the temperature. R value is given, joule per Kelvin per mole. Log value is also given, so you don't have to bother about the logs. They are providing log values in the paper. CBSE is giving you the log values. So this question, what it means, same formula I am saying here, log of K2 by K1. This formula now we remember using again and again, students. 2.303 R, and you are saying, sir, T2 minus T1 into T2. What is the meaning of this? The rate becomes 4 times. That means K2 is equal to 4 times of K1. That's all. So this is 4 times of this. So this becomes log 4. And you know how to calculate the value of log 4. He is giving the value. Again, no issue. EA 2.303 R. R value is 8.314 given to you. Temperature 293.13 minus 293 divided by 313 into 293. So you can calculate energy of activation. Any doubt? Tell me now. You have any doubt?
No, sir.
You understood what I said?
Yes, sir.
All the questions which were previously asked has been discussed in this class, as
Okay,
well
sir.
as we have tried to give some numericals which have been asked previously. There is no other formula. Only in every question I tell you this is the main formula. So how we use it and what type of question he gives, variation. The variation will be there. Some variation is there. That's all. What else he can do? He can do nothing but do some variation in the questions.
Okay, sir.
When we start practicing, the formulas becomes stand in our mind, and then we apply the formula directly in most of the questions. Basic concepts should be understood. My goal is only to decode the chemistry for your 11th, 12th, BSc and MSc chemistry. I want to decode how will I decode? If I don't understand myself, how I can decode? I will have to study. But I'm trying to tell you, I will have to study and then I will do the decoding. Or in other words, any student who studies can succeed in exam. My got my point. Hey, unless you study, how will you do it? Unless I study, how will I do it? So same principles apply to me. If I want to go and study more and teach postgraduates, then I have to study those books. But if I study, I will teach that also, no issue. That depends on how much time I have. So I'm trying my best to, I mean, whatever is possible from my side. And I say there are no limits of the level to which human beings can go. There are people who are now going in Olympics from India, very good. There are no limits. They are working for that. They work hard. And there is no question. Anyone can do anything. That's what I say. Once you take a decision, you can do anything in your life. Only without hard work, nothing will come out. Can it come out? Tell me.
No, sir.
If I don't work hard, then how can I teach you? Tell me. So it's the same story. If I want to run 10, 25 kilometer, I have to practice. I will fall and I will get hurt also in that way. But if I try, I do it. There is a woman with one leg who climbed Mount Everest. So she could do it. How will you say that one leg person can climb? She did it. You can see the record. So people are doing it. Okay, all the best. We'll see you in the next class. ठीक है?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right.